Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rich Bradley, President of the Board of Public Service. This is the regular meeting of the Board of Public Service for April the 4th, 2023. This is a public meeting and there are no lettings, but we do have one hearing today, which we will handle at this time. Hearing number 122247A is being conducted pursuant to section 26.100.030 of the revised code of the city of St. Louis. The purpose of this hearing is to determine whether to revoke the conditional use permit numbered as 122247A issued to New Art Mart LLC, DBA New Art Mart CO Khalid Motan, and approved for transfer to Cyber Barzenja and Sarwar Siwa Al-Hida to occupy 2921 North Newstead as a grocery store with cooking and no liquor. The parties have been notified of the violations of the conditions of this conditional use permit in writing by certified mail, along with the posted notice of today's hearing date. The hearing has been convened in order to address issues surrounding conditions number 1, 3, and 5 of the conditional use permit, and the conditions in questions are as follows. Condition number 1, the applicant shall establish a trash removal contract through a private source, schedule for regular pickups, and maintain the entire premise of the business in a clean and orderly appearance at all times. Condition number 3, there shall be no sale of items that can be used or intended for use as drug paraphernalia as defined in Ordinance 68404 or its successor ordinances, including but not limited to food scales, glass tubes, disposable lighters with pop-off tops, steel scrubbing pads and screens, rolling papers, ephedrine or pseudoephedrine, diet supplements, sleep aids, bath salts, or other substitutes for illegal drugs. In addition, there shall be no sale of cigars or cigarillos commonly used or adapted for the use involving a controlled substance, examples of which include but are not limited to the following: Phillies, Dutch Masters, White Owl, Swisher Sweets, Splitterillos, Backwoods, Optimo, Garcia and Vega, and Game. And condition 5, there shall be no temporary signage on the premise or posted to the exterior of the interior windows or doors of the establishment at any given time. The Office of Zoning Administrator has the burden to prove the conditional use permit conditions have not been complied with. After all evidence of the zoning administrator has been presented, the board will ask for additional testimony, if any, in support of this revocation. Then the conditional use holder will be given the opportunity to present evidence. Lastly, the board will hear other testimony in opposition to the revocation, if any. The testimony is being recorded. When you come forward, please state your name and address and be sworn in. As you testify, please direct your comments to the board and not to those in the audience. Members of the audience are asked to remain silent and not coach the witnesses. During your testimony, members of this board may have questions for you. Following the hearing, the board will proceed with its regular agenda. Following the conclusion of the regular agenda, the board will deliberate, discuss, and vote on the hearing. The board will notify the conditional use holder of its decision by mail in about 2 weeks. The Board of Public Service has in its possession the following documents which are being introduced into evidence. Item 1, a certified copy of the zoning code of the city of St. Louis. Item 2, the conditional use permit numbered as 12247A issued to New Art Mart LLC, DBA New Art Mart CO Khaled Motan on February 5th, 2021 to occupy 2921 North Newstead as a grocery store with cooking and no liquor. Item 3, a letter dated March 15th, 2023 to Silver and Sarwar Benzinja and Siwa Al-Hardi at 8827 North Broadway, St. Louis, Missouri 63147 regarding revocation of the conditional use permit numbered as 122247A, notifying the permit holders of the violations of the permit and providing notice of the public hearing on April 4th, 2023. Item 4, a memorandum dated November 16th, 2022, from the zoning plan examiner to the zoning administrator stating that on November 16th, 2022, the zoning inspector found violations of conditions number 1, 3, and 5 of the conditional use permit. This memo includes the photographs of the noted violations. Item 5, a public nuisance noted dated July 28th, 2022, sent by the Director of the Department of Public Safety to Cyber and Sarwar Benzinja and Siwa Al-Haida at 8827 North Broadway, St. Louis, Missouri 63147, due to disturbances, assault, fight, and other unruly behavior at the premise in the prior 12 months in violation of Ordinance 69730 as amended in Ordinance 70390. Item 6, a copy of an email from Mary Hart dated October 26, 2022 to Sandra Long, forwarding an email from Katie Eckelkamp, Neighborhood Improvement Specialist, dated October 26, 2022, in which she describes violations of the conditional use permit she observed, including the condition that the applicant maintain the entire premise of the business in a clean and orderly appearance at all times. Item 7, a copy of the public notice in the City Journal dated March 21st, 2023, posted for today's hearing. Item 8, a copy of the public notice in the City Journal dated March 28th, 2023, posted for today's hearing. Item 9, a copy of the public notice in the City Journal dated April 4th, 2023, posted for today's hearing. And item 10, a photograph dated March 21st, 2023, of a sign posted at the property providing notice to the public of today's hearing at room 325 at 145. At this time, the board asks a representative of the zoning administrator to please come forward and be sworn in.
Thank you. Do you swear to tell the testimony that you're about to give? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, directors. Dylan Mosier, zoning office, room 400, City Hall. I did an investigation of the said business today. This morning, I was actually there twice, right at about 8:30, and then again about 9:30 after the business opened up at 9 o'clock. I also did the previous investigation that was already discussed by Rich Bradley. Unfortunately, my findings today are that conditions 1, 3, and 5 are still in violation as they were with my last investigation. I've attached photos. I believe you have all that. The problems are really much of the same. There's a lot of trash around the dumpster area. So it's not so much the fact that I wholly believe that they have a trash removal contract as far as having, dumpster service. But I'm not sure what the problem is necessarily, but a lot of the trash is getting strewn around the parking lot and particularly near the dumpster. There's also the matter of some temporary signage, some unpermitted signage on the property, which is relatively common as far as, convenience stores that, have ongoing violations of their conditional use conditions. But yes, that was still in violation. The condition number 3 regarding the sale of drug paraphernalia items and cigars, that one was actually kind of the most disappointing for me personally, just because when I was on the site earlier this year doing an investigation, I actually sat down and tried to relatively hard to, make sure everyone knew my name and my number and explain what items they could sell, what items they couldn't sell. They even allowed me to, point directly at items and whatnot. And I thought I kind of developed a good rapport with these folks and was hopeful that they felt comfortable to give me a call if they had any questions about any of this and let them know about the process. But those items are still for sale. And I know that's, opinions on, rolling papers and items that could be used for, the sale of particularly marijuana. The opinions on that is changing, but certainly the conditional use condition is still there that they can't sell that. So that indeed was in violation. If anybody has any questions for me, I'd be happy to take those now.
So before I get into the board questions, I just want to, again, make sure in summary, you noted by your inspection today that condition 1, 3, and 5 are still in violation, correct?
Correct.
And just, I believe you said this, but in your opinion, clearly, do you believe the conditional use permit holder has made any effort at all to resolve any of these issues?
What I'd say is just that the photos really speak for themselves. There's photos that date back to November of 22 that I have in kind of my ongoing investigation file. There's photos, from November and then today, they look exactly the same. From what I could tell, the same products are for sale. From what I can tell, the same amount of trash is still found around the dumpster. And from what I can tell, the same signs are still up. So, again, that sort of speaks for itself of no change.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, I'll open the floor up for any questions from any of our board directors. Okay, seeing no questions from the board. Thank you very much, Dylan.
Thank you.
At this time, if there's anyone else present who wishes to testify that the noted conditions have not been complied with and you are in support of the revocation, please come forward and be sworn in. So I'm not seeing anyone on the screen. I'm not seeing anyone in the chat. If there's someone here supporting the revocation that wishes to testify, please just speak up now. Okay, let the record reflect that there is no one present at today's hearing that wishes to testify in support of the revocation. At this time, the board asks the conditional use permit holder to please come forward and be sworn in. I don't see the conditional use permit holder on the screen or in the chat. Michelle, they're not in the room with you, are they?
No, sir, they're not.
Okay, if the conditional use permit holder is here online and I don't see you, please speak out now. Okay, let the record reflect that the conditional use permit holder is not present for today's hearing. And finally, if there's anyone who is present opposing this revocation that wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in. Again, I'm not seeing anyone on the screen or in the chat, so if you're here to testify in opposition to this revocation, please speak out now. Okay, let the record reflect that there is also no one present in opposition to the revocation that wishes to testify. The matter concerning hearing number 122247A is now closed and submitted. The board will proceed with its regular agenda. Can you please call the roll?
Director Coyle,
Aye.
Director Davis,
Present.
Director Hayes is excused, Director Scoggin,
Present.
Director Scobie,
Present.
Director Williams,
Present.
President Bradley.
Present, we have a quorum. I'll call this meeting to order.
Regular business. From the president, recommendation that approval be given as follows. Supplemental agreement number 1 to PSA number 1255, evaluation and concept study of Terminal 1 Arrivals Drive, Lambert, St. Louis International Airport with EXP US Services Incorporated in the amount of $0. PSA agreement number 1262, task order contract for Principal Orioles, traffic safety and other associated improvements, St. Louis, Missouri, with George L. Crawford and Associates for the maximum agreement amount of $2 million. letting number 8750, Shops Drive repair and resurfacing at St. Louis Lambert International Airport at an estimated cost of $254,000 to be paid from ordinance number 71005. From the Director of Public Utilities, recommendation that the board declares as emergency action the following: Chain of Rocks Distributive Motor Number 10 repair. This work will include the repair of the blown coil connection, a thorough mechanical and electrical check to look for any deficiencies, as well as a thorough cleaning of years Corbin dust buildup. From the Director of Streets, recommendation that the following be approved, subject to certain conditions. Application number 131511, request from Union Electric doing business as Ameren, Missouri, to install concrete encased duct package and primary cable from existing manhole at Vandervenner and Fondry Way, west on IKEA property at 1 IKEA Way. Application number 131515, request from Union Electric doing business as Ameren, Missouri, to install conduit and cable systems in Grand and Delmore to extend distribution services to the expansion project of the St. Louis Symphony. From the Director of Public Safety and Utilities, joint recommendation that the following be approved, subject to certain conditions. Request from Heather Donzi to re-subdivide lots 16, 18, 19, and 20 in order to create enough space for the electrical substation upgrade at 1615 Macklin Avenue in City Block 5766. Request from AJ Adewami to adjust the boundary at 2156 Forest Avenue in City Block 4625. Request from Mycon Ayola Khan to address the boundary at 3443 and 3445 Michigan Avenue into separate units with their own lots in City Block 1581. We have 4 conditional use from the Director of Public Safety.
Good afternoon, Mr. President and members of the board. My name is Stephen Nahr, zoning planning examiner for the city of St. Louis, representing the building commissioner. Per board order 766, transmitted here with our recommendations for the following conditional use agenda and applications. Approval is recommended for 4 applications: 4025 Flat Avenue, 5535 South Grand Avenue, 4739 Natural Bridge Avenue, and 6405 Virginia Avenue.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments on today's conditional uses? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion, please.
I move to approve. Scobie?
Second.
Thank you, directors. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Coyle,
Aye.
Director Davis,
Aye.
Director Hayes is excused, Director Scoggin,
Aye.
Director Scobie,
Aye.
Director Williams, President Bradley.
Aye, today's conditional uses are approved. Hearing number 122247A, New Art Mart LLC, doing business as New Art Mart, 2921 North Newstead Avenue, as a grocery store with cooking, no liquor. We heard from our zoning plan examiner, staff inspector, that the conditions number 1, 3, and 5 were in violation previously for trash removal, items intended for use as drug paraphernalia, and no items used for drug paraphernalia, and temporary signage. As of his inspection today, the current condition is still the same as it was previously. He also noted that he spent extensive time working with the conditional use permit holder to get them to understand particular items such as condition number 3 and what items they can and cannot sell. It's also duly noted that the conditional use permit holder was not present at today's hearing and that there was no one to testify in support or in opposition to this revocation. So before I open the floor up, I will just give everyone our options here so that you know, particularly with individuals who may or may not have been through this before. So if someone typically makes a gallant effort to, come and show that they're interested and that they commit to us that they will make these changes, we have in the past opted to give them 30 or 60 days to get themselves in compliance. Traditionally, what has happened is in a case similar to this one, where there's been no effort or the conditional use permit holder does not attend the hearing, we have opted to revoke that permit. And just to let you know, if we do revoke this permit, that conditional use permit holder does have an opportunity to appeal this with the Board of Adjustment. So this is not an end all, say all, do all. It is what our board finds, and then there's an appeal process. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and open the floor up for any discussion. Okay, if there's no discussion, I will entertain a motion from the board.
I move to revoke the permit. Scobie?
Second, Davis.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on this before we vote? Seeing none, can you call the roll, please?
Director Coyle,
Aye.
Director Davis,
Aye.
Director Hayes is excused, Director Scoggin,
Aye.
Director Scobie,
Aye.
Director Williams,
Aye.
President Bradley.
Aye, revoked. Thank you. I'd like to turn your attention to our meeting minutes from last Tuesday, March 28th, 2023. Are there any questions or comments on those meeting minutes? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve, please.
So moved, Davis.
Second Coyle.
Thank you, directors. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Coyle,
Aye.
Director Davis,
Aye.
Director Hayes is excused, Director Scoggin,
Aye.
Director Scobie,
Abstain?
Director Williams,
Aye.
President Bradley.
Aye, the meeting minutes are approved. Today's agenda, are there any questions or comments on today's BPS meeting agenda? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion, please.
So moved, Davis.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Scobie?
Thank you. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Coyle,
Aye.
Director Davis,
Aye.
Director Hayes is excused, Director Scoggin,
Aye.
Director Scobie,
Aye.
Director Williams,
Aye.
President Bradley.
Aye, today's BPS agenda is approved. Before we adjourn, are there any questions or comments from any of our board directors? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved. Scoggin.
Second Coyle.
Thank you, directors. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Meeting adjourned. Thank you all. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you.
You too.